Some people will tell you that they are not able to go through this stress.
Yes,
they will not be able to survive it, so they prefer to buy point of lay. Yes, but we bring them when they are day old. When we bring them, yes, this is the brooding room. This is the first place.
Okay.
Because you have to control the temperature. The temperature should not be too hot for them, and it should not be too cold. When it's cold, it kills them. They don't want cold, they want warmth.
Okay.
So for us, we leave our lights. We have 24 hours lights. We leave the light on for them. From night to morning, we have this energy saving bulbs. We have the big ones, but even with that, we have this small camp gas.
Okay. Yes.
We're using stove before, because it's not easy to use this charcoal, and it has to run all through the night, so it's easier for us. Once we have enough gas in it, we just run it, it's on, and it just keeps going. Then in the morning you come, you check. Even at that, at night you have to come out, you check if the temperature is if it's too hot, you have to maybe
regulate it,
or you lower it. You watch them, because sometimes when it's too hot, they now start, the place becomes damp. Then at that point they become sick. That's when they come. And when they come, the usual Lasota treatment Gomboro is there. You start with that, and what we do, we treat them for typhoid, because that's one of the things that kills them very fast. We use chloramphenicol. The chloramphenicol, you take, we use them for our birds. Yes, these capsules we just buy the pack, then we use. There are other drugs we buy from those that are into the vets, but we use that. Some people like, why are you giving them? But we use it because of typhoid. Then you give them vitamins, and when they come, like the batch before these ones, I think when these ones came, I was not around. The day they landed, we brought in 2,000. That day we were here till, in fact I left my husband, he was here till 2 a.m.
Wow.
He's a doctor, so, and with the experience, he does his vaccinations himself, unless when it's very busy. We have a vet doctor that do it. You give them Marex, their eyes, the one you drop, then you inject them one after the other, even at that tender age. After that, this is the brooding room. We regulate it. It's not that big, where you have the beds. It's a small place. Then from the brooding room, you don't just move them to a bigger place. You still need to keep regulating
the temperature.
There's another room here.
Okay.
Maybe the infection rate is becoming so high, we move the room to this place.
Okay.
We kept them there until they were 9 weeks. We gave them fowl pox at 9 weeks.
Okay.
But you do the Lasota Gomboro 7, 14, 7, yes, first.
That's first 1 week, 7 days.
7 days, 14
days,
21
days. Okay.
Yes, you do that.
Okay.
Then they were here. It was after we debeat them there. We now removed them from there. Because just like you notice, that place is already becoming small. You prepare it. You don't just move them. Even before you move them, you have to prepare the place. You clean, you wash. Because even these cobwebs, when you leave them, it gives them infection too. Sometimes we use Vioxx. You just spray. It doesn't affect the beds. Even when the beds are there, you can spray your Vioxx. You have the one you put in water. It doesn't affect them. Just, if the environment is not clean, all these from the cobwebs, they drop and it becomes infectious for them. And sometimes you have rats. That's what gives them infection.
Wow.
The most. And the rats don't come down until when the lights are out.
Yes.
Once the lights are out, they come to eat from their food, and their droppings, sometimes it drops in the water.
Yes.
And the birds take, because it's already in the water, they drink from it, and it affects them.
Wow.
Sometimes once you notice your birds, they are still, you notice blood, you know that there is a problem. When you notice blood, there are drugs you get from the vet, give them.
Okay.
Take care of that. There are a lot of drugs. There are so many. It depends on what you now want. You make your choice. When you go, they show you. You have them. You buy. You give them.
Thank
you. You have antibiotics. You have the one for cough. You have the one for cold. All the drugs are there, but it now depends on what you want.
And what your money can afford.
Now,
because
is it really what you can afford?
because there are some drugs that you see they will give you like 4 different types. They'll say this one is 1,000, this one is 800, this one is 2,500, this one is 4,000.
Yeah.
So you'll be left with choice of your pockets.
But sometimes, you use these cheaper drugs and it doesn't work. And at the end of the day, it's just like being what do you call it, penny wise, pound foolish. It's at the end of the day, it doesn't work for you. You're not satisfied. You now go back to these other drugs. You spend more.
Yes.
So sometimes you just try as much as possible to get the good ones for them. Then you give them. From this room now, after they were debated here, we moved.
At what age, man? Sorry.
They were debated at 13 weeks.
13 weeks.
13 weeks, yes.
Okay.
And when you debate them, they don't eat.
Wow.
Yes. When you cut, you see some of them, you see blood gushing out. You have to rub on their dung. Yes.
Wow.
You see when you debate, you see the whole place. This wood, you see blood on the woods. They become sick. You start giving them vitamins so that they will not have that appetite. And at that particular time, they are feeding drugs.
Wow.
And if they are consuming 8 bags, they now go back to like 5. Then gradually again
they will increase.
Yes.
Okay.
So from here we moved them.
Okay.
To the big house now you saw them in. When you brought them here, I packed their dung every week.
Okay.
Yes. The number is quite much. As you can see, number is quite much. So every week. In fact, just this last one I left till 2 weeks because I didn't have the time. And the person that was supposed to go with it, I didn't call him. So this one stayed 2 weeks. Because when it's much, you see them bathing inside. They enjoy it.
Yes.
When they bathe inside, it enters their water.
Yes.
The dog now going back into their water and they are still drinking
it.
So it's like
recycling of infection.
Yeah, you have gone back to stage 1. No matter what drug you give them at that particular time, it will not work. So it's even advisable that before you give them, as you're giving them the drugs, clear the house.
Okay.
This infection is already in the dung. And you're giving them drugs for it. They stay in the dung. They bathe in it. So it's going back into them. But when you clear, it's now fresh.
Yes.
So the drug we are giving them is going in, the litter is coming out. So it works effectively. Yes. You see, the ones we're talking, the new ones we have that we're talking about, they are here. These are the 2,000.
Wow.
And when they are sick, because when they are sick, their rate of food consumption drops. They don't eat the usual. Here they were eating 8 bags, but we had to reduce. You know why?
Why?
When you feed them too much, they grow very fast. They start laying early, affects them.
Wow.
Yes. When they start laying very early, they die very fast.
Wow.
They are not matured. They need to be matured. They need to get to that age. Like this batch, when they started, my husband was like, he didn't want them to start laying now. They started early. And for him, it was a cause of concern. So when the way they are now, you pour food, they'll finish it. You leave the light on, you come, you add, they finish it. So it's not all about just giving them. Because you want to give them. No, it's not done that way. They have to be matured enough. You see their comb, it has not grown. If you notice ahead, as they are maturing, it's increasing, it's growing, it comes out. Even at that point when they start laying, now they are not laying. So we are regulating, we have reduced the bags of feeds we are giving them, and we put on the lights. Now it's only 2 lights. You see only 2 bulbs. But if you look at the lamp holders, you can see we have over, I think what's here is 13. That's what used to be here, but we have to remove them, because if you just remove all the bulbs at once, you can come and you see 100 dead. That's the problem with these birds. If you remove, you come, because they will lie down on each other. That's fear. Once you come, you just do like this. You just pack. The 35 I told you, they are not sick. That day they actually thought they left the inverter on. I was not around. So by the time they came in the morning, they realized that the lights were completely off. So when you just come, you do like this. Some are under. When you just did like this, they packed 35. And you know. So that's actually the risks of the business. Sometimes you are eager. Now the demand for eggs is very high.
Yes.
And if I follow that temptation, I'll be like, no, let's let them lay. But it's not good for them. You know, as they are laying, you see some with prolapse. Have you seen a bird with prolapse before? What attracts these other ones? They start picking at the anus. It kills them. So when they have prolapse, you remove that bird and keep it in a separate place. Some heal, while some don't. Some they die. Some of them lay and you pick the egg, you see blood stain on the egg. When you see blood stain, you know there's a problem. You now start looking out for that particular bird. Yes, you see it comes out. You see the anus will drop out.
Wow.
Then gradually it now starts going in. Now you have isolated it from these ones. So you see, you have to take all of that into consideration. Don't just say I want them to lay. They start laying, all your birds develop prolapse. It can kill. You just fall. And when you have a large number, you know how much you have invested. Maybe you even got loan from the bank, and this is happening. You'll be wondering what's happening. And they don't like to be startled. Because of these cats now, they can just, and before you know, you'll be surprised that you see 2, 3 dead. They are very
fragile, sensitive.
They are very sensitive. Taking care of them is actually very stressful. But what I tell people is actually better than nothing. And especially now, there's really no much gain in poultry business. If you're going into it, there's no much gain. What we used to console ourselves is their dung when we sell, because we sell the dung. And now it's farming season, so they are looking for it. And there's difference. They know it. They'll tell me that my own doesn't. Some people mix their own with sawdust. Mine is not like that. And what we do when we come to clear the place, we'll clear like half and quarter. We'll leave that water, we'll spread it back. That's what we do.
Oh.
Yes. So we don't always use sawdust. Once in a while we use sawdust when the place is damp.
Okay.
We used to have that problem a lot. So when we sold the beds last year, they had to refloor the whole houses. When we sold, we just use that money to refloor. Because when it's raining, you see water coming out. In fact, I had one experience. It was just terrible. There was nothing I could do. I was just looking at the bed, and when they see that strange water, they start drinking. Then by the next day, we start buying drugs. You know, so we floored. There was a particular time, even this house, I came one day, I was asking the boys, I said, what happened? Why is the place wet? You poured water? They said, no, it's not water. That is the feed. They changed the feed. And you know, when you bring them when they are day old, it's not the same feed.
Okay.
As they grow, and it depends on you as an individual. When we bring our layers, we start with broiler starter.
Wow.
You know why?
Why, ma?
We do that because it makes them weighty. Okay. It's one person that buys my birds. He will tell me that your birds are always different. In fact, even he called me yesterday that his son was saying that he bought birds from me. He doesn't want to sell to him. He was explaining to the son didn't believe him. They had to call me and he put it on speaker. You have heard from her. She doesn't have birds for sale. When you give them broiler starter, it makes them weighty.
Wow.
So even when they are coming to buy, they can go somewhere else and price their birds 800. They come, I tell them, no, my birds are 1-2. He will go, you think he has gone, he will come back and come and buy. So that's why we use starter. But some people just use the normal chick mash. From there to growers, but we start with starter, broiler starter.
Oh.
That's what we start with. Yes, we give them.
For how many weeks?
Over week, it depends. We give them for 1 month. We can give them for 1 month. We can give them for 4 weeks rather. Since we're using weeks, we can give them for 6 weeks. Then we decide on what we want to fulfill. They've not attained that
the weight
we want. But once we feel that okay, they are doing well, we now change to chick. We don't start chick immediately.
Wow.
Because when you pick the bed,
yes,
you see the difference. You pick the bed, you notice the weight and you see the difference.
Wow. And
we do ours in badges. These ones are already, they are 1 year. Last year February, we are in July. That's February, March, April, May, June, July. They are 1 year, 5 5 months.
Wow.
We don't want to lose our customers.
Yes.
By the time you have just, okay, because we have the place, we want to just put all at once. Then you sell all of it at once. Your customers go. When your birds start laying, you now go back. You'll be struggling to get them, but you won't get all of them.
Because they must have new customers.
But the truth is, we didn't just start all of this one day. No, we started with this house.
Wow.
We started with this one. After this one, after some months, we built this one. This one is a recent thing, you know.
Yes,
it's
I know.
It has always been here.
Yes.
This is the last. This one was that house there was last. It was last year November. It's not as if everything came
once.
The same time. No, it was gradually, because you know your money goes into it,
yes.
and you know what it means. Your money goes into it. I think this one, it was when we sold the beds. We started this work. Even the flooring I told you about, so when we sold the beds, that money went back into it. Unless you have maybe money somewhere that you'll be able to do this. But for us, we started gradually. We started with 200.
200 layers.
We started with 200 layers.
How many years ago, ma? Sorry.
That's over. It's actually, my daughter is 10. Over 10 years.
Wow.
Yes. Over 10 years. We started small. Gradually, as the money came, we were building like that. And we are here today.
Wow.
And you know, when you start, there's no gain. You'll not be talking about making gain. You know?
Yes.
Look at the structures. Then all these feeders, the tank, the water. When we started, we were buying water. It was very terrible for us. We'll buy water. That water doesn't last 3 days. Then a tanker will give us water for 5,000. It doesn't last. When we could no longer cook, we now went for well. But with the well, we're not comfortable. So what we are using now is a local borehole, this handmade borehole. That's what we are using. You see this tank that is here?
Yes.
If you don't give it water for 3 days, once there is light, we pump water. If you don't give it water for 3 days, it becomes empty. Because in the morning, these beds alone, they take 200 liters.
Wow.
In the morning. Without water, you cannot go into poultry business.
Water is essential.
In the morning, just this one, 200 in the morning. Sometimes it depends on the weather. And you know, when you give them that 200, by 12:30, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, their rubbers are almost dry. We give them water 3 times. That's what he's doing now. This is third time. But now he reduces the number of
drinkers
that are inside. Yeah.
Why, ma? Why?
You know, it's nice. They don't take much water, like from morning to evening.
Because the weather.
If you leave it, the water will be much, and you come in the morning, you're struggling. But when you reduce some of that's what we do. I really cannot say what others do. That's what we do here. By evening, like the house where you have 7 rubbers, we can remove 3 and leave 4. You just put water in the 4. Here we have 4. You remove 2 and leave 2. It's not big, and it depends on the size of that particular room. What we have here is 200.
Okay.
We have maybe 230, and you know, for 200 beds, their ideal consumption is 1 bag a day.
Of 200 beds. One bag per day. 1 bag per day. It's not a small investment for 7.
Where you have 500, that's 2.5 bags for 500 beds.
Wow.
In a day. Yes. Like this now, they are 220. We give them 1 bag and quarter. That house is big. So what we give them there is 3 bags, 3.5 bags a day.
Wow.
Yes. So that's about 700 beds.
Yes.
Each 200, we give them 1 bag.
Wow.
Yes. And for each 50, for my calculation now, we have 4 rubbers here. So for about 50 birds, 55 birds, you have 1 rubber. The big drinker.
Okay.
And another thing, you know, when you bring the beds, even the drinkers, you change them. You change their drinkers. You start from this normal white one, you know, the white and the red. From the white and the red, you go back to the smaller ones of this. Some of them are here. And you won't change completely. You start, maybe you remove 3 first. Gradually you are changing because you are not used to it. Whatever you are doing when it comes to birds, you don't just come and in a day even if you want to change their feet, you don't do that in a day. You want to change their feet, maybe the feet you are buying at that particular time you're not able to get. That's why you don't just allow the feet to finish completely. You are calculating. Sometimes I'll just come, okay, how many bags do we have? Okay, we have 20 left. That 20 for these breads. Okay, it will take them. Today we have complete for them. What we have tomorrow, will it take them? With the balance, will it take them? Okay, by next tomorrow, that means we don't have feed. We call. Sometimes we call a week before the feed finishes. We book for it. You don't want a situation whereby you go and you don't, no feed. You are stranded. Your birds don't have food. Their eggs will just drop. And when it drops, the rate at which it drops, that's not the rate at which it peaks.
Wow.
And when they are sick, it can drop to 3 crates. That's another. There's actually a lot to talk about.
Wow.
So you know, it's like we touch.
Yes, just touch it.
But when you go into the truth about this whole thing, this farm having birds is gradual. It's a gradual process. That's why you have to be patient when you're going into it. You learn on it. You learn on it. When you have them, even for the laying birds, you know, when we come, we want to check the birds. We know the ones that are not laying. There's a way we check them. There's a way we check them. Like during that salad, we removed some of them that were not laying, and we sold them off because they will never lay.
Wow, why?
So you're keeping them in the way. Some
are just naturally
naturally like that. They're just eating. Even sometimes when they are inside, these ones know the ones that are not laying. They are crying. You know, so you see some of them, sometimes you see them, they gather the eggs. You know, they do that too. They gather the eggs, they cover them.
Okay.
As if it's not as if they are going to hatch the egg. They end up spoiling your eggs for you. So you just remove them. So it's actually a gradual thing. Even if you have the capital, it's not advisable that you say, okay, because I have money for 2,000 birds, I want to start with 2,000. No. It's actually advisable. Start with 200. If you are that eager, you can start with 500, but it's not too good because the casualty will be much. You can come and in a day you see 100 dead, and you'll be like, what happened? But when you have this 200 and you gradually you learn. Once you learn with that 200, then you're good to go. When you even start, you know, you need a vet doctor. Like my husband actually vaccinates them because he's a doctor. He's not a vet doctor. He's a doctor. I've never really done that. Okay. One of my workers can do it. Sometimes when they are sick, you just tell him, okay, give them injection. We have the injection. We have the drugs rather that you give them, so the boy can actually inject. He can debeak. But I've never really done it. I've not done it. Wow. So that's the much I can actually say for now. That's why I say poultry farming, there's actually a lot when you keep birds. Yes, you learn on it. You learn with the birds when you have them. Gradually, as they are growing, you now know when they are sick, when they're not eating, you know something is wrong. Their eggs don't just drop all of a sudden. And you know, when they start laying, they lay this 50 crates, you're happy. After a while, you know, gradually, just like you have this, what do you call it? You get to a stage you're producing where gradually start diminishing. You know, they now get, that's why sometimes you have spent layers. When they are not feeding themselves, there's really no point keeping them. You have to dispose because they're actually supposed to feed themselves every day. When they start laying properly, it's not when they start dropping one. No, when they start laying properly, they feed themselves and you make your gain every day. Every day they should be able to lay eggs that will feed them. You buy their feet. That's what I mean by feed them. You buy their feet from the eggs, then you get your gain for that day.
Wow,
that's layers farming for you.
But what do you feed their eggs? Some egg will be small, while some will be big. What is the cause of that?
When for those that are really into egg business, for those that are in egg business, they know when you have new birds, when these birds start laying, their eggs will not be the same with these old ones here. Okay. That's why when they start now, we call these ones old birds. Okay. When I tell my boys, how are the old birds doing? How many did they lay today? We actually have a book for them.
Oh, record book.
You record everything. What you spend on drugs, what you pay your workers. Sometimes you think you are making gain. Actually, you're not. You're running at a loss. Because sometimes we buy drugs 150, 200. Though that is because of the number we have. This is a large one, yes. So you have books for them. You have books for the old ones. You have for the new ones. When they start, you see the eggs very small. That's for new births. Okay. You see their eggs very small. Gradually, the older they get, the bigger the egg gets.
Wow.
Yes, the older they get. When this one starts laying, I can decide that I will not sell these eggs the same price with what I'm selling this one, because you see the difference. Yes, you see the difference. After a while, they peak. And sometimes I think the feed too. The feed affects. And we are this kind of people that we really don't like just changing. You know, when we hold on to one company, we want to continue, but like that. Sometimes when people come, why not try this feed? I say, no, we are used to this. We don't want to go into this. Let's just continue with this. They tell you, this. I went to a farm. Their eggs are big, and this is the feed I noticed they are using. But when they start, definitely you won't get the same eggs with new birds and old birds.
Okay.
You always see that difference, at least for a while.
Okay, ma. Wow. Thank you very much, ma.
You're welcome.
It's very impactful. So, ma, the last but not the least, their disease, sickness. What are the common sickness and disease associated with layers?
When you entered here, you didn't notice they are coughing.
Yeah.
They are coughing. Sometimes they have cold. You see running nose. Sometimes they have diarrhea.
Wow.
They are purging. So you have to start treating. When they are coughing, the drug you give for cough is different. The one you give for diarrhea is different. The one you give for, if you give a cough drug for diarrhea, it will not work. You only be wasting your time. So that's why I said they are actually different drugs. But when they are coughing, the best time to know, to really confirm it, is at night. They are sleeping, the lights are off.
Okay.
Around between 11 p.m. 11, 12. It's actually easier for us because ours is, within
within the vicinity.
It's just the vicinity, so you can come out quietly in the night. When you put your ear, you actually, even when we stood here now, I heard them coughing. There was a day I just came, I asked my brother, "These birds, are they coughing?" He said yes, because I heard them coughing. So it's actually common. Cough for us here is common. Once they start coughing, then that diarrhea, sometimes we treat. Now you even buy the drugs, you'll be wondering what's really happening. You're not seeing the effect of the drugs, and you just keep buying. It gets to a point that we get tired, but at the end of the day, we still go back to start buying these drugs. Just because we want them to get better. Because once they are sick, they don't lay well. They don't lay well. At that particular time, you're running at a loss.
Wow. Oh, thank you very much, ma. So do you have any question?
I saw some of them picking their feathers. Yeah, what's the cause?
No, it was not. It's not if they just play with it, because they won't eat it. They won't eat it
because they are making some of them bad.
that ball, you see, they beat them.
Yes, ma'am.
And when they beat, if you're not observant, sometimes they beat and you come and you see a hole on the head. Once they notice any small thing, they start picking, they start beating. You can come in the morning, you see it, you take it for granted. Sometimes when I come and I just notice injury, you remove. You see these ones here, be careful there. These ones here, they are the ones they beat. You always see them hiding, they don't eat well. And they beat and kill. Yes, they beat and kill them. So it's actually something that, as an individual, it's better you get involved. It's better. There's nothing like big man in poultry business. If you get involved, because when you're not there, nobody takes care of your business. Like you see this one, see this one up here, it's crying. So once it goes down, so they are trying to survive. That's why they are up here. They are beating them. The ones with injury are not here. They are not here. There's another separate room here for them. If you don't keep them separate, it won't heal. They just beat and they die. Some they beat them and they become blind. Yeah, so you actually need to, when you have space, you enjoy it more. The ones that have injury, you remove them, you keep them separately. gradually 1-2 weeks, you see it will heal. Even some of them that are bad, when you remove them, after a while their feathers come back. You see them now growing because that stress is no longer there. They are resting. You see them, their feathers come back gradually. They grow their feathers. And another thing, they are getting old. You know, when they start getting old, you see some of them. You even see some and you laugh. But funny enough, those ones without feathers are the heavy ones. Wow. When you go to buy, this one that is naked, I don't want it. I prefer. They are more heavy.
Wow. Thank you very much, ma'am. I think we should stop.
The question I thought you asked, you didn't ask why we debeak. Oh. Why do you debeak them? What do you think is the reason why they are debeaked?
It's for them so that they won't be pecking on the egg. They won't be sucking the egg.
They don't debeak, they'll drink all their eggs.
Wow.
Even as they are now, they still break. Sometimes one has gone to lay. You see some standing by the side. And funny enough, do you know, I noticed that they have spots where they know that the eggs that are laid there are not strong. Just pick one egg and throw. You see the way they rush it to drink it. They drink their eggs too. So if you don't debeak them, they'll finish it. Even with the debeaking, even in picking the eggs, you will not say, I want them to lay. By 9:30 they are inside to pick the eggs. By 12:30 they are there to pick. Then in the evening, they don't lay the same time. And when you don't go to pick, they step. When the eggs are much, they step on them, they lie on them. If you're not careful in a day, you can lose one crate. And when the birds are sick, you know, like Lasota, even up to now, we give them Lasota every month. How do you know that these birds have Lasota when they start laying? When you start picking white eggs, it's not normal.
White eggs
here are not normal. Once you see, when was the last time we gave Lasota? It's time for Lasota. We give Lasota every month. Every end of the month. Wow. Give them Lasota.
Ma, this wooden cage inside.
That's where they lay.
Okay.
That's where they lay. And you know this is deep litter.
Yes.
Because
so ma, what is the advantage now between deep litter and this battery cage?
The battery cage, they don't have direct contact with their dung. So the infection rate is low.
Okay, with battery cage.
No, battery cage. You know, they don't have, that's why I said deep litter. They are in direct contact with their feces. Okay. So that's why the infection rate is high. Okay. But the cage now, they are just there. We just eat. Their feces goes down. Their eggs have a place for it to just go and pick. So the battery cage, they are not prone to infections like this deep litter. Wow. They are not prone to.
So ma, can one bird lay 2 eggs a day, or just one per day?
I heard something like that, but our bird is just one per day.
Because I heard something and they say that some bird lay in the morning, then late in the evening they will lay egg again.
Now the world has become a global village. You know, somebody, I was complaining, I went out, I was like, I'm not feeling fine. She said it's too much eggs. I just laughed. I said, funny enough, I really don't take eggs that much. That I'm selling them for me. You know, if you read, the good thing is you can always go and read what you want to read online. They tell you that you're not supposed to take more than 1 egg a day. So for me, I know it's not enjoyment, but some people just lash. You have the poultry, so you're eating eggs every day. Sometimes in a week, I can decide not to eat eggs. Wow. You know, I really don't. It's once in a while. It's not something I eat every day. So for having a bird that lays 2 times a day, you know that it's not ordinary. They've done their research and they've mixed one, or what do you call this? Just like this crops, this seeds now.
Genetically modified.
Genetically modified seeds. They have their disadvantage. They do. They do. For me, I still prefer the usual way. So for birds that, even these ones, you know, all these things, they mix them. They tell you they mix this, they mix this. They don't know the food. I thought it's dead. I have to check it. Sorry.
No problem.
It's not. I want birds to lay 2 eggs in a day. I wouldn't even want to consume such eggs. Honestly.
So they are not healthy.
Honestly, they are not. For me, they are not healthy.
They have been altered.
They are not healthy. That's why you see a lot of diseases. Now you hear of a small, you see little children now with diabetes.
Yes.
Was it there before? No. Our parents are more healthier than us. That's why we sit. As young as I am, sometimes for me to stand up, I'm complaining of waist pain. Is it normal? It's not. You know, you see joint pain. You see a child, I'm not in my joint. What is all these things we consume? So for me, I've heard it though. They said there are bets that lay 2-3 eggs a day. So you see, he's speaking now. He will not get. Maybe he gets. I don't think he will get up to a crate.
Wow.
It depends on how they started. But in the morning, for us now, we get more eggs in the afternoon. In the morning, maybe he will get 5 crates from here. In the afternoon, he can get 8 crates. Then this evening, now this is just like the final cleaning of the room. And you don't give them food we don't give them food in the evening. We give them food twice a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Morning and afternoon.
Morning and afternoon. Give them morning and afternoon.
But I thought the rate of their feeding is proportional to their egg laying. Is that so?
It's as I said, it's usually not like that.
Okay.
Yes, that's why, you know, when you have 200 beds and you know you are giving them what they are supposed to consume, they should lay well. If they are not laying well, it means they are sick. If they are not sick, maybe they are becoming spent. But if they are okay, they should lay well. That's why they should be able to feed themselves. If they are not feeding themselves, they are not doing well.
Wow.
If they are not feeding themselves, they are not doing well.
So after they are old enough, thank you. When they are old enough,
you don't go in with your shoes.
Okay.
Yes. Like the other side, if you look at that, the first ones we did, there's this place where we pour, you disinfect. So when you come, you put your legs, but I think laziness or something, we stopped it. You don't go in with your shoes.
Yes, because of infection.
Because of infection.
We can carry infection from outside. So as I was saying, if they are old enough now, I want to dispose them. The price differs.
Yeah.
So is it that you can just dispose them any amount, or there are still some specific price that they must go?
It depends on, just like you said, just like what I was telling you, their sizes, their weight. You go to a poultry house. Now these breeds, I'll dispose them next year, but I already have buyers.
Wow.
For them. That's why I told you that I cannot do broilers again. I already have buyers. I promised somebody that I'll give him one room. I promised one that other room. I'm giving one person this one person. So I've shared it. I have buyers already.
Wow.
Because they know that our beds are heavy. But there's a poultry they go to, they'll be like, there you beg them. But here I don't beg people to buy my layers. I have market for layers. We dispose them once in a year. That's during Salah.
Wow.
Yes, so I already have buyers for them. I already have buyers for this one.
So with your experience now, going to 10 years or over 10 years in this business, between layers farming and broilers farming.
It's not a question to ask. This stress. Broilers, once they are lying down, you know, once the last broilers I put over 500,000, but I cannot boast of collecting 300 cash. I don't even know what happened. Somebody made me put broilers. Imagine keeping broilers for 9 weeks. If it's over there, to sell. You can sell. A friend of mine came from Edo. She was like, I wish this your business is there. Somebody sold beds and made profit of 2 million broilers. There you sell them 8,000.
Yes, 7,000.
This same bed, you come here, you are begging people to buy for 2,000. I had beds 9 weeks. They were coming to tell me they'll give me 1,000. You know how terrible that experience is.
Yes, man.
So it's not you cannot compare.
Wow.
They actually have their own. Sometimes when they become sick, we just keep slaughtering. In a day we can slaughter 10 these layers. You come when they have that cold, it can be very terrible. When they have that flu, you come, you see them sleeping. There was a day I called one of my customers. I said, just sit down there. and be looking at them, and he sat there. I tell anyone that is misbehaving, bring them out. You just see them, they cold. We have given drugs, we are tired, I tell you, just bring them out. There was a time I had about 100 birds in my fridge. It's not as if I wanted them, but because they were sick, I was tired. Layers, so I said slaughter them.
Wow.
Just slaughter. It can be, you know, the more quantity you have, the more stressful.
Yes, it will
when
be.
When you have 100, you are careful, you are watching them. But when you have 1,000, you have 1,500. The work is more and the stress is dead.
Oh, ma, how about the breeds?
We do Zatek.
Zatek. Why do you choose Zatek? Why do you like Zatek?
That's why I told you that my husband is not somebody that likes jumping from one. People will come, have you tried no, it's not high. Is it hybrid? Is there any? You know, there are other companies
like Agritech,
Armored,
Obasanjo
Olam here.
Olam, that is cheap. Chukun, or what do you call them? Chukun.
It has always been Zatek for us.
Okay.
It has always been Zatek. My husband doesn't believe in because people are buying. Let me go and buy. Actually, it has been good for us.
Okay.
Zatek is good.
So all of them are red.
Yes.
I think they used to be black layers.
For us, the red are stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Than the black layers. Wow.
There was a time we tried black, but the red are stronger.
Okay. Thank you.
Once is 9 light, we put on the light. Sometimes maybe they've not finished their food, they are sick, they didn't eat well. We can leave the light till 11 p.m. But once it's 9:30, we just come and put the light off there.
Wow.
So they all go to sleep.
You go and sleep for the day.
Yes. Once the light comes on, anytime the light comes on, they are awake, they are ready for food. If their plates are empty, they gather. When they see you coming, they believe you're coming with something. You know? You want to like this is the thing. That's room. We have beds there.
Wow.
Yes, you see some of them with injury on their head.
So this is their treatment center.
Yes, so that's their See these ones. They're actually growing. You see? Are you not surprised that you saw bigger birds and you're seeing this? They are all age. Look at that one. You think it will ever grow? See that one there. Funny enough, we had, is it dead? In fact, sorry, let me use the word of the word. We saw one here with will I say leprosy? No legs.
Seriously?
No legs. It's like he's dead. The first day I saw it, I was like, what is this? It was later my boy said, look at it very well, you understand what is wrong with it. It was 6 some days back, it's dead.
Wow.
It's dead. It's dead. No legs.
Wow. So like
they
this
had legs, no feet.
Wow.
Abi?
Like this one, would this one ever
make it?
Seriously.
Can't you see that it's even looking sick?
Yes. It's looking sick. The neck are withdrawn inside.
See the water now. All these things you see is what's on the ground, and it's not supposed to be like that.
Yes.
Once they notice, they are supposed to change, but if you don't, sometimes if you don't go around, they just pretend that they didn't see it. So you need to go around to tell them, why is this like this? So tomorrow morning, because we want them to eat and grow.
Okay. Why those ones, they are okay already?
These ones are old. Even those ones, you saw 2 bulbs. It now depends on what you want. There's Kofta there. There's NCO. There's Tylodox. The common one for cough is Tylodox.
Tylodox for cough.
Tylodox for cough.
Oh.
Have them there. Different. When you give them this one, it's not working, you switch to another one. Like that. You have antibiotics, you have for cough, you have vitamins. Those containers you see there, they are vitamins.
Wow.
You have what you call shamuzol, you deworm them too.
Wow.